Hello, pirates. This is going to be Monday's assignment, September 14th. You're just going to take notes on the 8 different parts of speech. There's technically 9 because articles are parts of speech. Those are words like a, an, and the, which can actually act as adjectives. And in the worksheet, we only did 7 of the 8 parts of speech. We didn't do interjections. So again, all you're gonna do is take notes. So please follow along. As always, you can go faster than I am. You can pause my directions. You can pause to write down all these notes. So I'm gonna hit present mode, doing my Steve Harvey again. Parts of speech, VMS CLA 6, 2021. Nouns. Nouns are words that name persons, places, or things, ideas, concepts, etc. They're common and proper nouns. Remember, the common nouns name unspecific person, place, or things. That's what the PPT stands for. Like man, woman, dog, city, school, etc. Proper name specific person, place, things, and they're always capitalized, like Tig, Velda, Pueblo, Welsh Corgi, Vineland Middle School. Please make sure that you're capitalizing your proper nouns. An example is, Tig works at the best school in Pueblo. The words that are highlighted are nouns, with Tig and Pueblo being proper nouns and school being a common noun. Nouns can be concrete or abstract. Concrete means they can be deduced using the 5 senses, like laughter, smile, knuckles. We can see, we can hear someone laughing. We can see someone smiling. You know, we give someone knuckles and we fist bump, we can feel that, we can see that, we can hear that. Those are concrete nouns. We can deduce that. An abstract noun can be deduced using 6th sense. It's personified, like love, hate, fever, desire. You know, we can't, quote unquote, see love. We can see someone hugging, kissing, high-fiving, things that personify what we love. Like, you know, throwing away your broccoli. You hate broccoli. Or if you have a fever, feeling your head tells us you have a fever. Like a desire. Again, like running out the building when the bell rings. You want to go home. That shows a desire to want to get out of school. We can't physically see desire or love or hate or a fever. We personify it. And then finally, nouns can also be compound words, like football, ice cream, outhouse. Like foot and ball by themselves are each nouns. Ice and cream by themselves are each nouns. But together, they make a totally different noun. Out is actually an adverb, but house is a noun. When combined, they make one different word. Verbs. Verbs describe an action or a state of being done by a noun or a pronoun. Action verbs, again, can be concrete or abstract. An action verb, again, can be deduced by the 5 sentences, like hit, walk, run, laugh. Again, we can see someone, we can feel someone hitting. We can see someone, we can hear someone walking. We can feel someone walking if you're doing the walking. Same thing with running and laughing. Excuse me. Abstract is personified with the 6th sense. Again, love, hate, wonder, thought. Like, I love the Denver Broncos. Again, how do you see me loving the Denver Broncos? You know, you're going to see me record a video on that day wearing my personalized Bronco jersey. I hate beef stroganoff. Why do I hate beef stroganoff? I don't make it for dinner. I wonder if it's going to snow. You can't see me wondering. That's in my head. I thought I knew what I was doing. You know, you can't see me doing that. Like Tig laughed at the dancing bear. You can see me laughing. Tig loves writing. Leon loves writing. How do we know Leon loves writing? Because you see that he writes poetry. State of being verbs describe what a noun or a pronoun is. Like am, are, is, was, were, be, been, being, do, does, did. Like he is sore. We can't, with our five senses, seeing sore. If I'm like making noises, if I'm walking gingerly, you know, then that's up to me to deduce that somebody's sore. If somebody's limping, we know that someone is sore. We were happy when the Nuggets won. Again, how do we know that we are happy? We're smiling. We're jumping up and down. She did her homework. Again, we can't see did, but if you see a grade in the grade book, that's us knowing that you did your homework because I gave you a grade for it. That's what be verbs do, is that they just show what something is or was. Verbs continued. Verbs also can be helping verbs. They assist the action or be verb. Some verbs can be be verbs and helping verbs. Like again, am, are, is, was, were, be, been, being, may, might, must, do, done, did, will, would, can, could, should, have, has, had, ought to. Like the Broncos will be going to the Super Bowl this year. Will be is a be verb, or is a helping verb. Helping verbs just show time and place to something, like a past verb or a past present verb, a future verb or a future present participle. Those I'm going to go in at a later time. That's a week's worth of assignments. And like going is a be verb. Again, we don't know that they're going. We know they're going because they won, like the AFC Championship game, where the Broncos have won 3 out of 8 Super Bowls 3 out of 8 times. How do we know they've won? Because we see that in the record books. Again, have is just another helping verb showing that they have won. I could say the Broncos won the Super Bowl 3 out of 8 times. Have is just a helping verb being a participle. Again, if I'm going too fast, always pause the video and you can write down your notes. Remember, your notes don't have to look exactly like what I've done. Just make them you so that way you know how to recall them when you need. Pronouns. Pronouns take the place of nouns or other pronouns. They're first, second, and third person pronouns. Each person can be singular or plural. Please click on the link for a list of the personal pronouns. There are also other types like reflexive, objective, indefinite that I didn't include on this. We're going to go into those in greater detail when we do the pronoun unit. But so if I click on this, it's going to take me out, and this worksheet gives me this list right here is the big thing I want you to understand. Again, singular pronouns, when they're a subject, is like I. Object, me. Possessive would be mine. So these words are all the personal pronouns. Whether, again, subject would be first, object, that's a little different. Again, sorry, we have first person. Second is only you. Third person is when we speak in third person. Again, I'm not going to go into these massively in detail. We'll do that when we get into the pronoun unit because this just takes much longer to go into than I want for just these notes. The one thing I do want you to understand that I've seen a lot of kids messing up with right away is the pronoun that is always capitalized is the word I, because I is taking the place of you when you are speaking. I noticed when You guys did your future self-reflection writing or health triangle reflexive writing. You weren't capitalizing your I's. In English, we always capitalize I's. Side note, when I am talking about him, her, he, she, it, I'm going to refer to as standard English pronouns. When I refer to he or him, I'm referring to someone who is male. When I'm referring to she or her, I'm going to refer to someone that is female, because this is technical English. We do understand the way the world works, that some people don't use pronouns the way we use them technically anymore. When I teach this, I'm going to do the technical version. Pronouns, again, can be subjective, objective, or possessive. By subjective, we mean talking about that as a subject. Objective, we mean talking about it as an object. Possessive, we mean possessing something. Like I shouted, we won the lottery. I and we are subjective pronouns. They did their homework. They is a subject because that's who we are talking about. There is a possessive pronoun because whose classwork, their classwork. You Legoed my ego. You, again, is the subject, even though it's a second person. And my, again, is a possessive pronoun, and it's a first person because it's my ego. Last thing I want to talk about, this is for my students who speak a different language other than English. English is gender neuter language, unlike Spanish, German, Italian, French, etc. So when we talk about nouns or pronouns, again, if I don't know a gender of something, I call something it. Where in German, the sun is der Sohn, which means Mr. Sun. The moon is die Munde, which means Mrs. Moon. As we know in Spanish, we talk about brother and sister, we say hermano and hermana for brother and sister. Again, we know Spanish will give certain nouns a male or female classification. English does not do that. If we don't know if a pronoun like my classwork is male or female, I could say I handed it to Mr. Shornack. We don't say I handed him or her to Mr. Shornack. Adjectives. Adjectives are words that modify a noun or pronoun. They ask and answer questions like which one, what kind, how many, how much. The 3 blind mice ran into the hungry snake. 3 modifies mice. Blind modifies mice. Hungry modifies snake. The students are silly. Silly goes back to students. Silly is, in this second sentence, is an example of a predicate adjective. Predicate adjectives go after the nouns they modify, and they are after a be verb. 9 times out of 10 in English, adjectives always go before the noun or the pronouns they modify. Something I didn't create for this Google Slides, which I should have. Again, this goes for my EL students, for those who speak Spanish. 9 times out of 10, we know that Spanish, the adjectives go after the words they modify. Take like Rio Grande. Rio Grande means river big or river grand or river great translated in Spanish. So grande or grande goes after the adjective, the noun it modifies. Where in English, we translate Rio Grande into great or bigger or big or grand river. The adjective goes before the noun it modifies. Adverbs. Adverbs are the hardest part of speech to understand because adverbs modify a verb, adjective, or other adverbs. Adverbs ask and answer the question when, where, how, why, in what way, to what extent, and comparison. With comparison, they're phrases that begin with if, then, like, or as. Again, adverbs are the hardest because we have to understand what a verb, an adjective, and even what another adverb is to figure out what they modify. Adverbs usually end in an ly. Notice how I put the word usually in quotes because usually would be an adverb. He laughed hysterically at the scary clown. An adverb modifying a verb, because how did he laugh hysterically? Now, adverbs can go before or after the words they modify. The very tall basketball player could not dunk. That's an adverb modifying an adjective, where tall is an adjective modifying player, and basketball is an adjective modifying player. Very is an adverb saying in what way was that basketball player tall? Very tall. Very is modifying tall. She sobbed quite loudly when the Avalanche lost Game 7. Loudly is an adverb modifying sob, but we would say to what extent did she loudly sob? Quite loudly. Loudly is an adverb modifying loudly, which loudly is an adverb modifying sobbed. Again, that's why adverbs are the hardest part of speech around. Prepositions. Prepositions name time, place, direction, or spatial relationship of a noun, pronoun, or a noun phrase. Prepositions are adjective or adverb phrases. There can also be compound prepositions. For a word to be a preposition, it has to have a prepositional phrase, an object of the preposition, and possibly that's a modifier to the object, not a modify. Such as over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. Over, through, and to being prepositions. Over where? River. Through where? Woods. To where? Grandmother's, I should have highlighted house. To house. Those are prepositional phrases saying where do we go? We go over the river. We go through the woods. We go to grandmother's house. If you click on this link, this gives you the list of all the prepositions and all the compound prepositions. For something, I need to go back. For something to be a preposition, it has to have an object of a preposition. If it doesn't have an object of the preposition, then the preposition is actually a adverb. Like, I went over. Where did I go? Over. That's just an adverb. Because if I don't know where I went over, that's only an adverb, not a preposition. A conjunction, conjunctions are words that connect words, phrases, and clauses. There are three types of conjunctions: coordinating, subordinating, and correlative. Hence I highlighted and because and is a conjunction. Coordinating are the fanboys. For and, nor, but, or, yet, so. I can't run for I had surgery. That's combining two independent clauses. I like the Wizard of Oz, and I am the Tin Man. That is a coordinating conjunction combining an independent clause and a dependent clause. Actually, that's two compound sentences. That's from the Christmas Story. Subordinating, introduce a subordinating or a dependent clause. When we click on this link, this gives us a list of all the subordinating conjunctions. There's a lot. And a list of the coordinating conjunctions. What I mean by subordinating is that a subordinating or a dependent clause, I'll teach you that much later, is a clause that cannot stand by itself. It is not a sentence. You cannot have any pudding if you don't eat your meat. That's a line from the Pink Floyd song, The Wall. If you don't eat your meat is a dependent clause because we do not have a subject or a predicate because of the word if. You is our subject, can't have is our predicate. I'll teach you that in a couple weeks, subjects and predicates, after we go over nouns and verbs. Because the Broncos lost, I went to my room and cried. Because is a subordinating conjunction, meaning because the Broncos lost cannot stand on its own. Because we need to know what happened because the Broncos lost. Even though it looks like the Broncos is a subject and lost is a predicate, because we have the because word, that makes it a dependent or a subordinating clause. I is my subject, went is my verb. When the Broncos won, Mr. Roboto went to his room and cried. Mr. Roboto is the subject, went is the predicate. That's our independent clause. When the Broncos won is dependent. Finally, correlative are when pairs of words combine words, phrases, or clauses. Like neither, nor, either, or, not only, but also. Again, if we click on this worksheet gives us examples of correlative conjunctions. Like neither you nor I won the lottery this week. Both Mr. Roboto and I love to play golf. Finally, interjections. Again, I didn't do that on the worksheet because they don't need to be in a sentence. They show strong emotions or feeling. They can stand alone or placed in the beginning or end of a sentence. Like, I needed that drink of water. Wow, I did something wrong. Mom, I didn't do it. Geez. Again, with because of the comma we needed. But with wow and geez, with by themselves, we don't need them in the sentence. They just give strong emotion. I hope this helps, children. This is your only assignment for Monday, September 14th. Please make sure you are watching this video and taking notes. You will need this when we are doing, you can use this to help you when you're doing your noun and your verb assignment Monday, the September 21st, and Tuesday, September 22nd, respectfully. As always, if you need assistance, please message me on Google Docs. Or not Google Docs, I don't know what I'm doing sometimes, on Schoolology. Thank you very much and have a good day.